That was Sandra Hernandez reporting. Scientists at the Institute of Cancer Research say overexposure to sunlight causes at least 2/3 of all malignant melanomas and up to 90% of other skin cancers. Skin cancer is the most common form of cancer in the U.S., and if that's not reason enough to wear sunblock, meet our next guest. Penny Sadler is a makeup artist, a beauty expert, and she's experienced skin cancer firsthand. Now, Penny, I understand you went through a scare a few months ago. Tell us about what happened.
Yeah, what happened, Vanessa, was it was just like a pimple. It was a pimple that never went away, never healed, and it started to get a little red around it. And I had some other skin conditions from time to time, so I ignored it. I ignored it for several months, probably almost 6 months. And then I noticed it was changing, and so that's when I knew, okay, I need to go get it checked. And I still never really thought that I would have skin cancer. And when they biopsied it and it came back positive for basal cell carcinoma, I said, okay, now what? And I even thought, because basal cell is not life-threatening, I even considered, well, maybe I'll just leave it. You know, I asked them, what happens if I don't have this taken out? And because I just didn't want to face having to have the surgery.
Yeah, and it's obviously a very scary thing and something you probably wouldn't expect. I mean, before that happened, were you wearing sunscreen? I mean, what kind of practice were you doing when you went out in the sun?
Well, I'm not a sun person, which is probably pretty obvious, but I was. I was like everybody else. When I was a teenager, I grew up in Texas and California, both very sunny places, and we used to tan with our oil on the rooftop. So I had my sun exposure early on. Now, I would always wear a hat if I was outside, if I was going for a walk, or if I knew I was going to be in the sun for a while, I would put sunscreen on my face, and I would wear a long sleeve shirt. But generally, on a day-to-day basis, if I was just in and out of the car, in and out of the house, I didn't put sunscreen on.
So what do you want people to know today? I mean, how important it is to wear sunscreen?
Yes, sunscreen. I now wear sunscreen. It is your best friend. And also wearing the hat, wearing the protective clothing when you can, and just to be aware that if there's anything questionable at all, a mole, a pimple, a dry, crusty place, anything at all, go and have it checked.
You brought some products with us today. Talk about this. These are some options that women can put on that have a little sunscreen in it. Yes,
there are so many products with sunscreen in them, and everything from this hair care product to sunscreens for sensitive skin, without fragrance, for children, with vitamin C. This product from Olay is from their new Pro X line, and it's moisturizing and anti-aging, and it also has an SPF of 30.
And speaking of Olay, while we're on this subject, they're actually doing something to help people get screenings. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this is very exciting. It's called Skin Cancer Takes Friends, and it's a nationwide program where people can go, and they can go to the website, skincancertakesfriends.org, and they can find a doctor in their area and have a free screening, and they can take a friend with them.
And that website is set to launch in a few days, right?
Next week.
Okay, so these are things that, whether you don't have to lather yourself up in sunscreen maybe, but just changing your practice of when you go out in the sun, having it in your makeup, having it in your lotion can make a difference?
Absolutely, and there's a few different foundations and concealers that also have sunscreen in them. I have a few of them there. There's Cover FX that has an SPF of 30 in it. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get sun protection in your daily skincare routine.
So now, do you take screenings more seriously? Are you supposed to go once a year?
I think that's the general practice. Now, since I work with people's skin and face, if I see something, I'll say, have you had that checked? And the last person I said that to said, oh, I go every year. So I get that it's, sort of an annual, go get your checkup.
Okay, one last time, tell us that website real quick for people to get.
skincancertakesfriends.org.
All right, well, Penny, thank you so much for being here.